Good evening and welcome to tonight's August 24th, 2022 meeting of the Brighton Town Board. I'm Bill Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and I appreciate everyone who's joining us tonight, whether you're on the Zoom or watching on our YouTube channel or on our cable access channel. However you're here, we welcome you and we appreciate you participating in local government. We're sorry we're starting a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties with the connection to our YouTube live stream, but Steve and the video crew have that all fixed. So thank you. And we're ready to, obviously we are tonight meeting remotely as we have been since the start of the COVID pandemic. The town board, the town hall rather does continue to have COVID tests available in the lobby and down in the police department, as well as in the library. If you need COVID tests, no charge, right here. I do want to say, though, that looking at recent COVID data and guidance from the county health department, and assuming nothing changes, it is my intention that the town board will resume in-person meetings starting in September with our September 14th meeting. More detail will follow in terms of exactly how we will continue to ensure that people who are not comfortable for other reasons aren't able to attend any of our meetings. Obviously, we welcomed people participating before the COVID pandemic, and we'll be working with our technology to try to enhance that in a hybrid format going forward. As always, though, tonight we will start with the open forum of our meeting very shortly. That's the opportunity for members of the public to share their comments with the town board. When we get there, if you're watching now on YouTube or our cable access channel, you'll have to log into Zoom in order to access and participate in the open forum. And directions for doing that are available on the Town of Brighton webpage, www.townofbrighton.org. We do continue to make our meetings accessible to the deaf and hard of hearing community with our ASL interpreters. Heather and Allie, that's Heather you see right now. Thank you both very much for making our meetings accessible. The agenda for tonight's meeting, as well as all of the materials we are looking at in making the decisions we'll be making tonight, are also available on the Town of Brighton webpage. Again, www.townofbrighton.org. We'll start the meeting with a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Speaking of flags, we continue to fly the Ukrainian national flag in our town hall lobby. Today is Ukrainian Independence Day, and we salute the brave men and women of Ukraine in their efforts to maintain their freedom and independence over the entire Ukrainian nation. Before we get to the open forum, we are going to make 4 proclamations this evening. The first one recognizes Women's Equality Day, which will be coming up this Friday on August 26th. Whereas over a century ago, the courageous and dedicated women who marched, advocated, and organized for the right to vote finally saw their efforts become a reality when on August 26, 1920, the 19th Amendment was certified and the right for women to vote was realized. And whereas in the decades that followed, that revered right to vote has bolstered and empowered generations of women to stand up, speak out, and guide our nation towards legal, economic, and social equity. But whereas we celebrate the anniversary of this hard-won achievement and pay tribute to the trailblazers and suffragists like Susan B. Anthony, who moved us closer to a more just and prosperous future. Whereas Women's Equality Day also reminds us that we must continue to expand the notion of equality and protect our constitutional rights, as they may be stripped away, just as the constitutional right to abortion was eliminated, setting in motion a cascade of consequences, and in many states, a ban on abortion. Whereas while we herald the accomplishments of the litany of women who secured women's rights to vote, we are acutely aware that great challenges still remain for women and girls everywhere. And we must commit to continue the fight for their true equality. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and on behalf of the members of the Brighton Town Council, to hereby celebrate the achievements of the women from our past and our present who fight for equal rights, and pledge our support to all people across the globe who continue to work tirelessly and unselfishly to promote gender equality. This proclamation is signed the 24th day of August, 2022, by me as Brighton Town Supervisor. Our next proclamation recognizes National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month coming up in September. Whereas ovarian cancer is called the silent disease because its symptoms are often vague and there's no conclusive early detection test for this disease. Whereas ovarian cancer is the 5th leading cause of cancer-related deaths among women and the deadliest of the gynecologic cancers. And whereas if detected in its early stages, survival from ovarian cancer is 90 to 95%. But since the disease is difficult to detect early, the 5-year survival rate for ovarian cancer now stands at only 28%. Whereas to raise awareness of this terrible disease, local volunteers will place teal ribbons on the trees, lampposts, and gazebo at the 12 corners, joining with other communities around the nation who promote Turn the Towns Teal every September. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and on behalf of the members of the Town Council, do hereby recognize September as National Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month and encourage Brighton residents to educate themselves about this elusive disease in the hope of increasing instances of early detection and helping to save women's lives. This proclamation is signed this 24th day of August, 2022. William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor. I don't know if Ginger Ruff has been able to join us tonight, but thank you to Ginger. And I know Ginger has taken up this cause in memory of a loved one who died from ovarian cancer. But as you go through the 12 corners for the next month, for the month of September, people often ask me, what are those ribbons? That is Ginger and her volunteers turning the town teal to raise Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. And we thank you, Ginger, for your work in doing that. Next, we recognize Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And I'm very pleased that we have Carol Austin here from the Cure Childhood Cancer Association. Thank you, Carol, for joining us tonight. Thank you also for your work with the Town of Brighton on our Sustainability Oversight Committee. Whereas cancer is the leading cause of death by disease for children in America. with approximately 40,000 children in active treatment at any given time. Whereas globally, more than 400,000 children are diagnosed with cancer each year, and 80% of them reside in developing countries. Whereas in developing countries, the 5-year survival rate for children with cancer is just 7.4%, compared to wealthier nations like the United States, where the survival rate is nearly 80%. Whereas while there have been great strides in cancer research and treatment over the last 60 years, it is important to know that 1 in 285 Americans will be diagnosed with cancer before their 20th birthday, and that 2/3 of the survivors will suffer from chronic health problems after treatment. Whereas providing support to the children and their families struggling with cancer help them muster the strength to tackle another day, locally, Cure Childhood Cancer Association does just that through counseling, understanding, research, and education. This organization provides families with support at every turn. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and on behalf of the members of the Town Council, do hereby recognize September as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month and remind others that even small gestures of kindness can make a child with cancer feel more cared for and less alone. And this proclamation is signed this 24th day of August, 2022, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor. Carol, thank you for joining us tonight. I love your background there. Is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of your agency?
Yes, just real quick. I don't want to take up a lot of your time. I know you have a lot of things to get through and another proclamation too. I don't know if many of you are aware of Cure or had been before tonight, but we began in 1976 when a group of local parents had their children were diagnosed with cancer. And so we have been around since then. I am the program coordinator here. And so we're the only organization in Rochester providing social, emotional, educational, and financial assistance to families dealing with pediatric cancer or chronic blood disorders. So in just quick, and one more statistic, that average about 50 children a year in the Rochester area will be diagnosed with cancer. So I'm not sure the amount already since October of 2021. I had it written down, but I'm sorry. We provide parking passes and other social, educational resources for families. The parking passes help a lot. Families are in and out of the parking garage, and you can imagine that that becomes very costly. So that's just one of the many things that we do to help them. Cancer diagnosis is difficult anywhere for anyone, but a child being diagnosed with cancer is extremely difficult for the families and parents having to juggle different things that they have to do to try to be with their children and maintain their other children's lives and schedules and also be able to work. So I appreciate you taking the time to do the proclamation, and I'm happy, and I know my director, Holly Dutcher, would be happy. We're happy to help and answer any questions. If you ever need to reach out to us, we are happy to help anyone if you know anyone who needs assistance as well. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. But again, we really appreciate the proclamation and you're taking the time today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol. We'll get you that proclamation in person. Is there? How should people best contact the agency?
I can put my email in. Well, I guess some people on the YouTube wouldn't see it on the chat, but you can go to our website and then all the contact information is there, and it's at curekidscancer.com. So great. That's a great way to connect with us, and we'd be happy to tell anybody more details about what we do and how we help our families every day.
Thank you so much. It is wonderful work you do, and as a community, we're all grateful for that that work that you do for our kids, for our families.
Thank you so much, Bill, and everybody else here too. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Finally, our last proclamation tonight also recognizes September as Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders Awareness Month. Whereas alcohol is now recognized as the leading preventable cause of birth defects and developmental disorders in the United States, with thousands of children born each year with lifelong disabilities due to their exposure to alcohol prenatally. And whereas there is no known amount of alcohol that is safe to drink while pregnant, and no known safe time to drink during pregnancy. However, the first 3 months of pregnancy, when the brain develops, is a particularly critical time for fetal development, when alcohol can damage the brain. And whereas September is recognized as Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders, or FASD, Awareness Month, as a reminder that drinking alcohol during the 9 months of pregnancy can cause a variety of lifelong issues for newborn babies, including low IQ, learning disabilities, speech and language delays, mild to severe behavioral problems, vision and hearing problems, problems with vital organs, and more. And whereas FASD Awareness Month also highlights the challenges that individuals and families face who are living with FASD and who are seeking medical and personal support as they manage the negative impact FASD has on their lives. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that I, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor, and on behalf of the members of the Brighton Town Council, do hereby recognize September as Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorders Awareness Month and encourage all Brightonians to promote the message that FASD is a serious, wholly preventable diagnosis, and support pregnant women and those who might be pregnant in discontinuing the use of alcohol for the duration of their pregnancy. And this proclamation is signed this 24th day of August, 2022, William W. Maley, Brighton Town Supervisor. Okay, and obviously we appreciate people who are here for those proclamations. No one should feel that they have to stay. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but you're free to do what you have to do tonight if you'd like to. We'll now begin with the open forum. The open forum is the opportunity to address the town board about matters whether or not they're on our agenda this evening. We may not respond to your questions, particularly if they relate to matters not before the board, but I assure you that we listen and take your input seriously. If you'd like to address the board during the open forum, as I mentioned before, you must join this meeting on Zoom if you've not already done so. If you are here for the public hearing scheduled to continue tonight on the proposed Council Rock Avenue Extension 2 sidewalk snow removal district, I encourage you to wait until we call that public hearing, which we will do almost immediately after the open forum is over. That way your comments can be formally included in the record of that public hearing. If you do wish to speak, please use the raised hand function in Zoom and you'll be recognized and unmuted. Each speaker will have up to 3 minutes to address the board, and I'll advise you when you have 30 seconds left. Please address your comments to the board, not to other speakers. Please do not use the open forum to make personal attacks of any kind. Our goal here tonight and during the open forum that we hold at each town board meeting is to give you the opportunity to share your thoughts with the board and for us to be able to listen thoughtfully to your input. Is there anyone then that would like to address the board during the open forum? I don't see any hands raised. Bridget, do you have anybody?
I do not have anybody for you, Supervisor.
All right, then we will continue on with the meeting and
Bill, if we have no one for open forum, I move that we approve the agenda.
thank you, Chris. Can I have a second?
Second, Christine.
Dan, please call the roll on that motion.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Again, just to remind everybody, we will, as I mentioned earlier this evening, we will resume in-person meetings of the town board starting with our next meeting, the September 14th meeting. If to the extent we have, that any notices have been published, we will be getting new notices out to confirm that those meetings will resume being held in person. But next we have the one public hearing on our agenda tonight, the proposed establishment of the Council Rock Avenue Extension 2 Sidewalk Snow Removal District Extension. We opened that meeting at our last meeting, and we will hold it open again tonight and consider taking action afterwards. I know I'll just confirm again with Dan, has the necessary legal notice been given in this matter, Dan?
Yes, Supervisor, this notice was published back on July 25th.
Thank you. Is there anyone here that would like to address the town board in the matter of the proposed Council Rock Avenue Extension 2 Sidewalk Snow Removal District? Is there anyone from the board that would like to, or staff, that would like to include any comments on the record of this public hearing? Is there anyone that would like, we've got someone just entering the room. Is there anyone that would like to address the board on the Council Rock Avenue Extension 2 proposed sidewalk snow removal district? Please use the raised hand feature in Zoom. I do see someone with his hand physically raised. Bridget, if you would unmute him, please. And please state your name once you've been unmuted and share your comments with us. Go ahead, please. I'm not able to hear you. I'm not able to hear you. Bridget, if you would, I don't believe the gentleman has any comments for us. We want to give you the chance if you do. Okay, apparently not. Since there are no members of the public or staff with any comments, I declare this public hearing to be closed. Christine, if you would make the motion, please.
Happy to do so. In the matter regarding the proposed establishment of the proposed Council Rock Avenue Extension 2 Sidewalk Snow Removal District, I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Can I have a second, please?
Second, Robin.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mailing.
Aye. Can I have a motion to receive and file the communications, please?
So moved.
Can I have a second?
Second, Robin.
Thank you, Robin. We have 4 items of communication tonight. I want to talk a little bit about each one of them. The first one from Nancy, I'm not sure if it's Keeper or, well, in any event, Nancy wrote this letter to Town Clerk Dan Amon. Dear Mr. Amon, I'm writing to thank your office for providing prompt and courteous response to my recent request. My handicap parking permit had gotten lost and I telephoned your office to request a new one. I spoke with Lisa, and that's Lisa Diaz in our town clerk's office, who quickly answered my call, immediately verified my information, and said she would mail a new one. 2 days later, the permit arrived in the mail. Her prompt and pleasant attention to this matter was greatly appreciated. Please convey my thanks and appreciation to Lisa. We love getting letters like that. We all know Lisa, what a great job she does, how friendly she is to everybody that comes into the clerk's office. So Dan, please do, in addition to conveying Nancy's gratitude, please convey all of our gratitude to Lisa for her work with the public. The next letter is from Chan Quach, who is Monroe County Community Development Manager. And this is a letter about some changes to a very important home improvement program that is run through Monroe County, which administers the home improvement program utilizing funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. For 31 years, Monroe County, through this program, has provided assistance to income eligible homeowners throughout the towns and villages in Monroe County. And a wide variety of improvements can be made through this program. And the reason for the letter is to notify the community that effective June 1st, 2022, properties that are assessed by the tax assessor at or below $174,000 may qualify for a grant for up to $20,000 for a wide variety of eligible improvements, things like roof replacement, systems upgrades like HVAC and the like. If you go to the county's webpage, you'll get much more information about the program. That's www.monroecounty.gov/home improvement. Or you can reach out to Betty Cordero at 753-2011 for information about the Monroe County Home Improvement Program. The last 2 letters, unfortunately, are 2 letters from 2 of our great town employees advising us of their plans to resign from the town. Joseph Wesley, construction equipment operator in the highway department, who has been a stalwart of our highway department for many years, is going to be leaving us as of the end of the day tomorrow. So Mike, if you want to say a few words about Joe.
Yeah, thank you, Supervisor. Joe will be missed. He is a good employee. He rose to the level of CEO relatively quickly, does a great job for us. Wish him the best of luck in his new endeavors. So he's, like I said, he'll be missed. We'll be making a lot of more switches in the highway department now to accommodate for that loss, but wish Joe the best in his new career.
Thank you, Joe, for all you did for people of the town in nice weather and in cold weather. We appreciate it all. And the last item of communication is from our police chief, Dave Cathaldi, advising that longtime Brighton Police Department investigator, Michael Romat, is going to be retiring effective September 10th. His last day of work will be September 9th. Investigator Romack has been with us since December of 2006. Chief, I know you've got some good things to say about Investigator Romack.
Yeah, Mike has been recently assigned for the last 7 years as an investigator here in the department, and it's a very sensitive position. They handle all the major felony crimes, but they also take care of some of the more minor crimes, if you will, that have a lot of sensitivity to them. And Mike's done a phenomenal job for us. He's recently done some work for us trying to get our employee wellness program up and running. So he's been very valuable in that regard. And he's going to be missed. He's going to be a hard one to replace.
Indeed. Well, we wish him well again on his new career. And before he was with us, he's been with us for almost 16 years, but he had a number of years in law enforcement before that as well. Okay, I'm not sure we voted on receiving and filing those. I don't believe we did. So Dan, if you would, unless anybody has any further comments on any of those letters, if you would call the roll on the motion to receive and file those.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. As always, next we have our 4 committee reports, starting with Community Services Committee. Robin.
Thank you, Bill. The Community Services Committee met on Wednesday, August 17th, at which time we entertained and adopted a motion to receive and file any submitted written reports in relation to the meeting. The following notes represent the written reports that we have received to date. From our Recreation Department, the Brighton Town Hall pool closed for the season on Friday, August 19th. We're looking to complete some fall maintenance on the pool before winterizing, including completely draining and sanitizing the pool, repairing non-functional lighting, cleaning and repainting of the pool surfaces as we are able. Summer programs are finishing up with the last few camps at full capacity through the end of the season. Thank you for all who participated. We're working diligently on compiling fall program offerings, and we look forward to the return of our traditional basketball league for the first time since COVID safety protocols went into effect. Fall registration for Brighton residents for fall programming begins just after Labor Day on Tuesday, September 6th. At 9 a.m. Non-resident registration will begin 1 week later on Tuesday, September 13th at 9 a.m. The Bands at Buckland concert series is concluded for the season, and we only had one rain out, and that unfortunately was during the last week on August 16th. Again, we thank all our sponsors, attendees, staff, performers, and everyone who makes the concert series possible. As residents may recall, the town and its consultant SWBR held a community and recreation feasibility study public forum on Thursday, July 21st. The results from the public comment period are currently being compiled, and the final report for the feasibility study, which will contain recommendations for moving forward, is in process. The Brighton Farmers Market hosted our Summer Climate Action Plan public community event on Sunday, August 21st to garner additional feedback on the plan from for our consultants, Barton and LaJudice, and the overseeing community board, that is the Sustainability Oversight Committee. If you haven't yet offered feedback on the Climate Action Plan, you may do so online, and that website is townofbrighton.org/climate-action-plan. Site work continues on our winter's farmers market. Other than that, we have no additional updates. An update to our Inclusion, Diversity, and Equity Advisory Board. Plans for the IDEA board moving forward, including next step for finalizing the draft IDEA plan, were presented to membership. The IDEA board will continue with a subcommittee structure to benchmark progress in the 6 priority action categories. And the IDEA board will be recruiting for membership in the fall. An update to our community choice and community solar aggregation. With the effective default of the town's former CCA supplier, the timeline has been accelerated to get a plan in place to hopefully return to a 100% renewable electricity supply for eligible residents and businesses. We are continuing to work with our partners in the administration of the program to resolve the status of the defaulted contract for the old CCA and the potential for a new bid process to identify new suppliers. An update to our clean energy community priority actions and our sustainability funds. The town board did pass a resolution at its August 10th meeting to pursue grant funding for additional EV stations. Plans are to relocate the existing EV charging stations and to repurpose it for town vehicle usage and install additional public stations with GPS and internet capability. Christine, would you like to give the Hopper update? I understand that we have the figures in from, or the performance stats in for the season.
We do. I don't have the figures in front of me, but I know that we maintain our position as the busiest town on Hopper bikes in the entire network. So I know those numbers were forwarded to you earlier, and they're included in the final report of the committee.
Yes, yes.
Keep riding those bikes.
Yeah, and I do have those numbers. We had for the Brighton Town Hall station, we had 117 total rides. 49 incoming and 68 incoming and 49 outgoing. And for the 12 corner station, we had 60 total rides with 33 incoming and 27 outgoing. Again, thank you to everybody who participated in the Hopper program. And we look forward to continuing that next season.
Christine,
the bikes are still usable. They will not be collected up for several more weeks. The weather is good, the season goes long, and really a little bit of rain or snow shouldn't hold people back from biking anyway.
That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. I hope they're going to keep the bikes out there well into the fall. You know,
I believe the season extends into late October or early November, and I can have confirmation on that by the next time we meet.
That'd be great. You know, our trails really are beautiful as the leaves turn, and not just here in Brighton, but there's plenty of places still to go on your bike, on your Hopper bike. And again, I think it's important to remember those e-bikes are part of the Hopper inventory. So that's an option that people have when they're renting from Hopper.
Absolutely. It's a less daunting option. And then an update to our Council Member on Your Corner program. Available dates for the fall have been confirmed with our farmers market coordinator, Sue Gardner-Smith, and the schedule will be announced as soon as that is finalized. The first available weekend, due to our overwhelming participation from vendors at the market, will be September 18th. And then I just wanted to remind people of upcoming events. Our semi-annual electronics recycling and secure document shredding event will be on Saturday, October 15th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the Brighton Highway Department parking lot. That is 1941 Elmwood Avenue. And Trunk or Treat will be returning, and that will take place on Saturday, October 22nd. The final times are still being worked out, but that will be at the Brighton Town Hall Public Safety Wing at 2300 Elmwood Avenue. And finally, our Drug Enforcement Agency National Pharmaceutical Take Back event will next occur on Saturday, October 29th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And as usual, that will take place at the Brighton Town Hall Public Safety Wing, 2300 Elmwood Avenue. The next meeting of the Community Services Committee will be on Wednesday, September 21st at 9:30 a.m. at the Brookside Recreation Center in the multipurpose room. We look forward to hosting members of the public then. As always, members of the public are invited to attend.
Thank you, Robin. Finance Administrative Services Committee, Jason.
Yes, Bill, the Finance and Administrative Services Committee met last Wednesday, August 17th. Each of the items that were discussed in our committee appear on tonight's town board agenda and will be presented in further detail. We did have a couple of other discussion items from the assessor's office. And the first was to review a request to complete a townwide revaluation of property for the town. And the last revaluation was completed in 2018. And since that time, our equalization rate, which compares the assessed value to fair market values, has dropped from 100% to 89% for the 2023 budget year. And I believe that the state guidance wants that equalization rate to be above 90%. Once you fall below, then we need to consider doing a revaluation. Pam will discuss her proposal and the estimates for the costs. Pending guidance from the committee, changes will be made to the 2023 budget request for the assessor's department. No recommendation was made because more discussion is needed. In addition, we also discussed the new increase in income limits for senior citizens and people with disabilities, real property tax exemptions. And there was another request from Assessor Pam Post for committee review of the several options that exist to increase the current income base rate to $50,000 for a 50% assessment reduction. Governor Hochul has recently signed legislation to give towns, counties, and schools the option to increase the current income levels. With the current time restraints, however, Pam does not recommend putting any changes into place for the current year. She is attending the assessors meeting in September and plans on gathering more information from the other towns at that time. And again, no recommendation was made at our meeting, as more discussion is needed and more information needs to be gathered. Our next meeting, and this is always a signal of the close of summer, is that the FASC moves off of its summer schedule and return to our regular Tuesday afternoon schedule. So our next meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 7th at 3:30 in the afternoon. We meet in the Town Hall auditorium and the public is invited to attend.
Thank you, Jason. Public Safety Committee, Chris.
Hello, Bill. The Public Safety Committee met in August, and I reported on that at our last town board meeting. We've not had another meeting since. And our next meeting will be September 13th at 0800. And the public is invited. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris. And finally, Public Works, Christine.
Public Works, like Public Safety, has not met since the last town board meeting. The next meeting of the Public Works Committee will be Tuesday, September 6th at 9 a.m. at Town Hall. But if I may, at the moment, I will note that 2 weeks ago on August 11th, neighbors from the Willow Bend Neighborhood Association and from the Evans Farm Neighborhood Association had the opportunity to meet with representation from RG&E regarding increased and significant power outages in the recent past. RG&E was able to provide some clear explanation about how the trunks and circuits and equipment all work, and the neighbors were able to better understand the reasons for the outages, largely rodent caused. Watch out for those wily squirrels who seem to have a real taste for electrical equipment. RG&E did lay out a clear plan for mitigating the problem, and will be reconvening with the Willow Bend and Evans Farms neighbors in about 2 months. So we appreciate RG&E's willingness to meet directly with residents and for the neighborhood leaders to be able to bring back an update to residents and to know that there is a solution, a proactive solution to the power outages along that main trunk that extends down Edgewood Avenue. That is all.
Thank you, Christine. Appreciate it. It was a helpful meeting. I too share your appreciation for RG&E. They really did provide some, I think, helpful information. I also appreciate the residents from those neighborhoods who joined us that day. So more to follow. Okay, moving on to old business. We have the approval of the negative declaration and consideration of an amendment for incentive zoning approvals for the Jewish Senior Life campus regarding the construction of 2 new residential buildings, a more multi-purpose room, a fitness center, and 2 maintenance storage buildings, all at the Summit property. We did hold a public hearing on this matter at our meeting on July 27th. I'm going to pass this, I think, maybe to you, Ken, or to Mike. Who wants to pick it up?
I'll be happy to pick it up, Supervisor.
Thanks,
Thank
Ken.
you. So the project at the Jewish Senior Life campus, as the materials in front of you outline, arises out of the incentive zoning approvals that were first given to the project back in 1996 and then modified again for the greenhouses in 2015. This modification to the prior incentive zoning approvals relates to the property at the Summit, which is behind the Jewish Home Tower. It's known as Lot 2. And what JSL plans to do on that property is to build 2 residential buildings, each 4 stories high, each containing 35 residential units for independent living. The first floor of those units is going to be for parking underneath the building. In addition, they're going to be building a theater and multi-purpose room, about 5,500 square feet, my recollection from the documents, and a fitness center of about 2,000 square feet. And they will be building 2 outbuildings for maintenance and storage. All of those modifications to the incentive zoning require new incentives because each one of those proposals involves some degree of change to the incentives previously given. And in exchange for the incentives that have been asked for by the JSL, they have offered amenities which consist of 2 things primarily. First is to design and build sidewalks from where they now end on South Winton Road, roughly near, but not exactly at the corner of 590. And they would run then along South Winton Road to the Brighton Volunteer Ambulance property. Brighton Volunteer Ambulance itself has previously committed to building a sidewalk on their frontage around the corner of South Winton and then up Westfall. And then JSL will continue to build sidewalk up Westfall towards Buckland Park, approximately 850 linear feet. The sidewalk on South Winton they're building is approximately 1,100 linear feet. That is one amenity. The other amenity involves the continuation of a per unit payment. The property for tax purposes is not on the tax rolls for the reason that it is a not-for-profit and religious organization. And so the property had agreed previously to a payment in lieu of taxes, which involved a per unit payment, which has escalated over the years. It's now approximately $170 per unit, but goes up by cost of living adjustments each and every year. So for each of the what will be 70 new units when they are constructed and in service, the amenity provides for the continuation of making those additional per unit pilot payments for each of those units, in addition to what already has been committed to, which is a per unit payment for the other units that were built on Lot 2. There was also a commitment which is not affected by this proposal for what started out as a $40,000 lump sum payment, which is an annual payment, which has escalated under cost of living adjustments for the development that was on the front parcel where the greenhouses were built. That lot is known as Lot AR1. I think that's probably too much detail, but that's what I am offering right now. If there's any questions, and Mike, if you want to add anything to that, feel free to jump in.
I think you covered it pretty good, Ken. Thanks.
Yeah, that was great detail, Ken. I think it's important to understand the project. You answered the question that I had. I know it relates to a different lot, but that other payment, the $40,000 per year payment, which is also indexed, will continue each year without any change. I know we have counsel for the applicant is here, and I know he will, if he's got something that he needs to say, we welcome you, but I believe you're probably just here just so you're here in case there are any questions or any concerns. I do want to note again.
Yeah, just so on that subject, I did speak with Mr. Goldman at the beginning of this meeting, and he indicated that he really was just attending to monitor the meeting so he could do his client action.
Again, I say this whenever this town board considers incentive zoning matters. Incentive zoning is probably the most important tool in our land use toolbox as a community, particularly as a community that is largely built out, that has less buildable open space in a lot of communities, and yet, as we just saw in the residential context, is an incredibly desirable destination. Brighton's 14618, and yes, a little bit of that zip code goes into Pittsford as well. It's mostly a Brighton zip code, but it was named the hottest zip code in the country for residential real estate, at least. But we know it's a desirable location for a number of types of development, including development in the not-for-profit area. We have used incentive zoning effectively in working with a number of not-for-profits and have been able to specifically tailor projects to their needs, as well as to the circumstances of the land and the needs of the taxpayers of Brighton. Despite JSL being a tax-exempt entity, we do receive these annual payments, and we're receiving a very valuable sidewalk amenity. So I can't say enough. Brighton has, I believe, been the most effective municipality in the entire state at using incentive zoning since it was authorized by the New York State Legislature a little over 30 years ago. There are projects across the town, but more importantly, there are amenities that have come to the town, whether parkland, development of parkland, infrastructure, and more, that we would not have gotten without incentive zoning. And I know it's a program that each of the 5 of us on the town board have supported and concur is a very, very valuable part of our land use development process. Can let's, for the purposes of making sure we have discussion on this motion, can I have a motion, please, Jason, on this matter?
Yes, with respect to the approval of the negative declaration pursuant to seeker and amendment of the incentive zoning approvals for the Jewish Senior Life Campus regarding the construction of 2 new residential buildings, a multi-purpose room/theater, a fitness center, and 2 maintenance/storage buildings at the Summit property. I move we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
Is there any discussion on that motion?
Bill, if I may just add one thing, not
Absolutely.
to belabor this subject too much longer, but I did want to point out that the town board is acting as lead agency under seeker here, and that the first portion of the resolution before you does indicate that there will not be any significant negative impacts on the environment as a result of this project, and therefore adopts a negative declaration under seeker as lead agency. That is in addition to the action which I described previously about amending the incentive zoning resolutions for this project.
Thanks, Ken. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, then Dan, if you would call the roll on this motion relating to the amended incentive zoning approval for Jewish Senior Life and the related negative declaration under seeker.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Next, we'll move on to new business. Jason, reading and approval of the claims.
Yes, Bill, earlier today, I reviewed claims totaling $676,059.73. Notable claims include to the Depository Trust Company, in the amount of $3,600, representing interest-only payment for the 2016 open space acquisition refunding bonds. Also to Iroquois Rock Products / Dolomite Group, in the amount of $21,506.18, representing payment for asphalt for paving Carverdale Drive. Also to Lloyd Mechanical Company, in the amount of $8,260, representing application number 2 for the library restroom upgrade project. Also to Lou Engineers, in the amount of $9,968.35, representing payment for professional design services for the East Avenue Sidewalk project, and that's a partial payment. And finally, to Spring Sheet Metal and Roofing, in the amount of $96,918.05, representing partial payment for the library roof replacement project per contract. The claims all appear to be in order, and I move that they be approved.
Second, Robin.
Any discussion on those? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. Robin, if you do the next one.
Certainly. The next matter seeks to authorize the supervisor to accept a 2021 Bridge New York program grant in the amount of $757,681 for the French Road Bridge over Allen Creek as part of the French Road Preventative Maintenance Project, and authorize the supervisor or his representative to sign documents associated with this funding and the finance department to make any related necessary budget modifications. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Christine.
Mike, I know we've talked about this project, but if you can just speak to it a little bit and course, the grant that we're getting from the state to do the work.
Sure. Back in December of actually 2021, we received a Bridge New York grant to do preventative maintenance on the French Road Bridge. This is the bridge that goes over Allen's Creek just as you turn left off of Winton Road on the French Road. The improvements include basically removal of the asphalt wearing surface and replacement of the surface, replacement of the curbs. They're also going to shift the bridge, the roadway a little bit to one side to be able to put sidewalk on one side of the bridge, which is a very big benefit there. So that'll allow the sidewalks to be extended from Winton Road up into the French Road area. And the grant is a 95%, it'll cover 95% of the work. The grant's for a cost of about $758,000. Great opportunity for us to get this done.
And you know, you think about it, Mike, tonight we approved an amended incentive zoning for Jewish Senior Life, such an important institution in our town, but providing sidewalks that will connect down to the to Virgin Diamond, then in a position to cross Winton Road with the signals there, and I assume a crosswalk I hope will be going in there at some point. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work, but and then connecting to sidewalks going down French Road. The sidewalk network continues to be built out, and it's projects like these, and so often it's these bridge projects that provide an important sidewalk connection. So great job in putting this together and your team.
Yeah, the bridge projects are, they leave you a very expensive little short section of sidewalk because you either have to enlarge the bridge. So these grants are very special in that way.
Anybody with any further comments? Thank you for that, Mike. Hearing none, we have a motion. Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Chris, if you'd handle this next one.
Be pleased to. The next item is to approve the appointment of Bertha Frias to the position of Deputy Court Clerk. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Jason.
And again, this was discussed at the Finance Committee, and we're very pleased to have her joining us. And Lisa made a great presentation at that time. Further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Robin, why don't you handle separately the two laborer promotions, please?
Certainly. The next item seeks to approve the promotion of Nicholas Walker from laborer to motor equipment operator. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Christine.
Mike, do you want to speak actually about both of these promotions?
Yeah, thanks, Supervisor. Nick is, it's funny, we have so many new hires and we're trying to backfill a lot of positions at this point because so many people have retired. Joe being, just like Joe Wesley did today. So Nick has been with us since 2020, June of 2020. He's operated a sidewalk tractor, so he's it's not new to him, the winter work grind. We look forward to putting Nick in that position. We have another CEO or another MEO position opening up, and Robin will introduce that next. And there's still, I think that should fill the MEO positions for the very short term. Yeah.
Any further discussion on the promotion of Nicholas Walker from laborer to motor equipment operator? I believe, I think actually, am I right? Although the agenda says Walker, is it Welker?
No, it's Walker.
It is Walker. Okay.
It is Walker.
Right.
Yep.
Good. Then if there's nothing further, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye, and then Robin, Mr. LaDelpha.
Certainly, the next matter seeks to approve the promotion of Carson LaDelpha from laborer to motor equipment operator. I move that we adopt the resolution as prepared by the town attorney.
Second, Chris.
Mike,
Yeah, another position, moving a labor up into an MEO position. It's a nice, it's a big move for these folks. Again, Carson's been with us since 2021, August 2021, so he hasn't been with us that long. Actually has kind of seniority to get into that role, but he's also very qualified. He's a hardworking laborer who's demonstrated these skills. Moving him into the sweeper, which is a pretty critical role with what we do. I mean, they're around town all the time. The residents always know when the sweeper's gone by. And getting him into a tractor at this point will help him with his skills plowing snow, but we are going to have a couple more trucks opening up here. He may be applying for those trucks and may end up being a truck driver here too before too long. So we look forward to putting Carson in that role.
well, these two positions, someone mentioned this at our finance committee. These are a great example of the internal promotion opportunities in working in our highway department. We make a real effort to promote people internally into positions of greater and greater responsibility, but whatever the position is, they are really important to the quality of life for our residents. We get compliments, whether it's on social media or the notes that come to you, to me, to Dan, whomever, praising the work of our highway people. And so 2 thumbs up to them all, and congratulations on these promotions. Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Anything further? If there's not, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Chris, why don't you do the next one, please?
The next item is to declare one 2012 Chevrolet Impala sedan as surplus to be sold at an online or in-person auction. I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
Second, Robin.
Any discussion on this? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Last item of old business, Christine.
Happy to do so. The next matter seeks to approve.
I'm sorry, new business. I think I said old business.
Yes.
Last item of new business.
Feels like old business because it was just yesterday we were discussing this. The next matter seeks to approve the appointment of Peter, let me be sure I say his name correctly, Peter K. Greasewood to the planning board, effective immediately. And I move that we adopt the resolution before us.
And just to, thank you, Jason. I was just going to clarify, this is to fill a vacancy, and actually, yes, the appointment is effective immediately. The current term runs through December 31st of this year. And we did have an interview with Pete yesterday. His experience really is very, very substantial. Although he went to the University of Buffalo, he has lived for a number of years and worked in planning and particularly in the tree and the arborist area, but in planning in general, both with the city of Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as the town of Davidson, North Carolina, a suburb of Charlotte, but he's also worked here in the private sector and down there in the private sector, an awful lot of great experience, and I'm very happy to be able to vote on him tonight.
And just for clarification, I might have misheard the name, but the individual that is being considered for this appointment is Peter K. Greisman.
Greiswood.
Yes, it's pronounced with a long I, Gricewood.
Grice, say that?
Greiswood, Grisewood.
I'm not sure the resolution reads that way. That could be my fault.
It does.
It
It is
says
correct.
Grice,
Peter K. Greiswood, Grisewood.
just my mind playing tricks
Wait.
on me.
You're smarter than you think, Ken.
No, probably
Wait.
somebody corrected an error that I made is my
Oh,
guess.
well, in any event, I'm glad we got it right. And
Good, I'm glad you have it right too, because I thought it was wrong. So wonderful.
Well, so we have that motion. It's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
But then if Robin was trying to interject something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robin.
Yeah, no, I actually, I wasn't sure if it was IES or ISE, and that, who did we?
I think it is IES, isn't it?
I have his resume in front of me. It's Grisewood as spelled in the resolution. So we are
Okay,
appointing the
great.
right
Yep, you're
gentleman
right.
to the
Great.
planning board.
It is.
Wonderful. Okay, just wanted to be certain now.
What do they say? Better to measure twice than.
Yeah.
Councilmember.
Okay, now that we've measured twice, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePoncio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Matters of the supervisor. First, we have the second quarter report. Paula, if you could share some good news.
I'll certainly try without boring everybody to death. I know we've got plenty of time tonight, so it's a great time to go through the second quarter results for 2022. I'm going to remind everybody real briefly, we've got about $27,400,000 net appropriations. We're focusing on the general, the highway, and the library funds. Does not include the special districts. We've raised taxes of just under 16 million to support those expenses. We appropriated fund balances of 1,875,000, which includes 20,000 of reserves. The difference is $9,500,000, and those are all other revenues. The largest share of the $9 million, 58%, or $5,900,000 consists of two of our largest sources, and that's sales tax at $4.4 million and mortgage tax at $1.1 million. So last time when I gave the quarterly report, we did a sneak peek. It was the end of March. We hadn't received our first quarterly sales tax. And at that time, I told you we received $1,383,000, which represented 31% of the 25% benchmark where we were at. That amount was about $300,000 greater than the first quarter payment in March of 21. So that was really good news. Now, technically for this report, we haven't received our second quarter sales tax, but I have a sneak peek for you this time too. So we recently received our second quarter sales tax and the payment was $1,491,000. Now, that's larger as traditionally is so, but that is about $180,000 over our last second quarter payment in 2021. So at the present time, we're running about $450,000, $480,000 actually, above our last year collections thus far. And we've collected approximately 60% of the budget, 65% actually. But it's really exciting news. However, with the sales tax in July, we got some not so great news. Over the state, it's gone up, but in Monroe County, it's gone down. We're going to see a few different impacts coming down the road. One is our gas tax. That's going to be in place, I believe, until September, possibly October 1st. So we're going to see a little bit of that chip away for, I believe, at our sales tax. So I would say we're going to be optimistic about where we're going to land at year end, but we also need to be mindful that it's good news, but I'm glad we've got some cushion now, because that cushion might be eroded in our next 2 quarterly payments.
We've talked several times about that gas tax cap, and it's great for those of us that, are consumers, but it will impact our revenues for the rest of the year.
So we'll be keeping an eye on the next 2 quarterly payments. Mortgage tax, we did collect in June, and remember, our mortgage tax is paid twice a year. For the period October to March, it's paid for in June, and the period, June for collections, October to March, it would be October of 21 to March of 22. We received that in June of 22. And then April to September, which will be April of this year to September of this year, we'll receive that payment in December. So in June, again, we had a spot of good news. We collected $591,000, which is up about $5,000 from 2021. So we're just above our 50% budget at 53%. However, we have mortgage rates on the rise. The federal government, we're going to be maybe raising again. So with interest rates on the rise, it's going to be difficult to ascertain how this will affect our December payment. We may see that tick down a bit. I hope not. I hope we stay even at least. So one thing that I believe Pam did speak to at our finance committee was that our home sales in Brighton are still very strong. So while we have strong sales, depending on what the mortgage interest rates do, that may impact that second annual payment that we'll receive in December. So that leaves us about $4 million in town budget is revenue. That's departmental income, intergovernmental charges, other miscellaneous state aid, pilots, property tax, interest collections, and then interest. Right now, through our benchmark of 50% of the year, we've recorded out of that 3.9 or just about 4 million, 2.6 million. So we're at 66% of our budget. Driving that up is pilots, of course. We always receive 100% of those funds. Departmental income is up for this time of year, which is good. We're getting back to full programming. We're seeing more activity, so we're at 57%. Licenses and permits are at 50%. And fines and other sales are up also to 65%. So the interest is lagging just a whisker. We're at 49% for our interest collections thus far. However, I believe with the rates going up, we should see some turnaround on that, and hopefully we will hit our mark over budget when we get to year end. Now, if we look at the expenditures, remember that's 27.3 million. And 20,600,000 or 75% relates to wages and benefits for our active and retired town workforce. I'm happy to tell you tonight that as far as our wages go, remember our benchmark is 50% and we're at 43% of budget right now. Some of that has to do with retirements, and there's been a lag in refilling some of those positions. And some of it is that we're early in the year. We had a light snow season. We haven't really gotten into fall where we're going to be doing our leaf pickup. So there could be reasons. And remember too, that we only pay for authorized positions. And overtime is trending exactly where it always does. We are at 49% where we were in 2021 as well. So we break that down as follows. The police spent 115,000 of their 195,000 budgeted at 41%. And the highway spent a little bit over that, 132 of their 253,000. So they're at 52%. Overall, though, the overtime is trending exactly where it was last year and the year before actually. Employee and retirement benefits, again, we are at 51%. However, that's because our medical and dental premiums are always paid a month ahead. So when I benchmark these, I really look to 58% because again, we've paid through July, so 7 months instead of 6. So we're at 51% of that 58%. Again, we're trending right on target with those fringe benefits. And retirement, of course, is always correct because we do go by the state and we have those funds budgeted appropriately in our budget. So we talk about equipment and capital outlay. We've actually encumbered about 39% of our total budget, and we've spent out approximately only 10% of our budget. So of the 1,152,000, a lot of that is tied up on encumbrances. And so I'm seeing this phenomena. Usually at this time of the year, we see that actual tick up and we see that appropriated tick down. But because of supply chain issues, because of the availability of our equipment and vehicles or lack of, we're seeing that phenomena stay where it is. So even though we've spent a little bit of our budget, the fact of the matter is we have encumbered the majority of those expenses, and some of those amendments did roll in from the previous year. So equipment's been tough to get delivered. Supplies and contractual expenses, we've encumbered 80% of our budget, and again, that's encumbered. However, we've only spent out 37%, leaving 20% free for expenses later in the later months. So again, as we look at those, they're tracking as they should be, but we're seeing that same phenomena again. We've got a lot encumbered, which we should have, but we're seeing the actual expenses are down just a little bit at 37%. Our utilities are a little bit of a concern to me at this point. We've expensed 54% of our budget. We don't encumber utilities. We're on a pay-as-you-go. And we are starting to see some of those utility rates tick up. There are escalations in our contracts. So we're seeing a little bit of that tick up, and we're going to keep our eyes on utilities. In next year's budget, we've got approximately 25% increase. And from Affluent today, we did get a report saying that that's probably going to be a good number. So we'll be reviewing those again as we sharpen our pencils and fine tune that budget for 2023. Our commercial insurance is dead on accurate. We've paid all of our premiums through the end of the year, and we are at 96%. There is just a little bit left over in case we've got a change in, if there's a vehicle purchase and we need to pay the difference between when we retire the old ones and we put on the new ones. There's a little bit of money left over for that. So the balance of the appropriations is made up of our interest and principal, and we know those are always on schedule because we know exactly what those payments are going to be. We budget those accordingly, and we're right on target for our debt service payments. So the second quarter is trending fine as far as actuals go. We are concerned about delivery of items, the availability of items. Obviously, we are going to keep our eye on inflation and the utilities. But I think overall, we're running quite well.
Thanks, Paula. Thank you for that thorough report, which is a report on an awful lot of numbers. So appreciate it. Can I have a motion to receive and file those reports, please?
So moved. Jason.
Second, Robin.
Any discussion on any of that? Hearing none, Dan, please call the roll.
Councilmember DePonzio,
Aye.
Councilmember Werner,
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt,
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado,
Aye.
Supervisor Maley.
Aye. A couple of other things I want to just talk about during the matters of the supervisor. During the past 2 weeks on Thursdays and Fridays, each of the last 2 weeks, Rochester Gas and Electric held customer service office hours for Brighton residents here at Town Hall. As everybody knows by now, RG&E has been having some serious billing issues that are not just isolated to Brighton. If you read social media, you'll see people complaining about their RG&E bills all over the RG&E service area. we knew it was important because not only were people having billing problems, they were having customer service problems. So in speaking with our RG&E customer service representatives and some senior officials in the customer service area at RG&E, they agreed to bring someone in to provide in-house office hours. And as a result, we had those hours here. In general, I think people came away feeling like they really had a good opportunity to be heard, and were happy with the outcomes, although I do know of one or two where there are still some billing issues, some problems that have yet to be worked out, and they're going to have to be. Now, although those in-person office hours have now concluded, at least for now, the second thing that RG&E did at our request was to set up a hotline telephone number for Brighton residents with billing issues. And that hotline is still open. So if you're a Brighton resident and you have billing or service issues with RG&E, you can still call their customer service hotline. That number is 844-452-8885. Again, that's 844-452-8885. They'll ask you to leave a message with your phone number and some brief information about your problem. And an RG&E customer service representative who's been given some training specifically to Brighton related billing and other issues will call you back to address your specific concern. One more time, that RG&E customer service hotline number for Brighton residents is 844-452-8885. The development of the town budget for 2023 is well underway. That is always really an all-hands project. All of our departments, all of our department heads do a lot of preparation work, and they work with our finance department and present their budget proposals to us. The Budget Review Task Force, which is a volunteer committee of residents who have some specific financial expertise, is currently working with us, as they do every year, in that budget development and budget review process. They review the capital plans. We do a 3-year capital investment plan each year as part of our development. They review those requests department by department and evaluate them. They also review the general budget requests. We held the second of our 2 budget workshop meetings earlier this afternoon with department heads to review their budget submissions. I have to say, and we've all experienced this, the increases in prices in so many items this year, like your households, the town of Brighton experiences many of those same increases. Energy, of course, is a big one. We have a lot of vehicles. We heat and cool a number of buildings. You know, another place, asphalt. You know, as we do those roads, we use a lot of asphalt. Sidewalk prices, concrete prices have gone up dramatically. So we look at our infrastructure system, hundreds of lane miles of town streets, 150 miles of sanitary sewers in the town, nearly as many miles of sidewalks and storm sewers. So we have a lot of infrastructure to operate and manage, repair and maintain, and the cost of doing that just continues to rise. Vehicles, all of those things continue to rise and pose a particular challenge for us as we prepare our budget this year, particularly in the context of the state tax cap. It is, I have to I have to be honest, it's going to be very, very difficult for the town of Brighton to stay under that tax cap for the development of the 2023 budget, given the tremendous inflationary pressures that we have seen during the last many months. But as we do each year, the tentative budget will be presented in September. We will hold 2 public hearings on the budget at the town board meetings in October. By then, we will have also approved that capital improvement plan. After we hold those 2 budget hearings, state law only requires 1. We hold 2. We want to give everybody a chance to participate, to share their thoughts about our budget before we adopt it, and we'll adopt it. Our plan is at our October 26th town board meeting. We do welcome your input at those meetings. We do approve and develop our budget through a process that is much more open and transparent than state law requires. We think that's important. This is your government, local government, the government that is closest to the people. You're entitled to understand how we are spending your tax dollars. And I think if you have the opportunity to hear those hearings, to review the budget, yes, there's a lot of material there. Yes, it can be a slog to get through it. But because we put it there, because we put it out to the public, because we hold those extra hearings, because we hold the budget workshops, because we develop a capital improvement plan, we do make the budget development process open and accessible to the public. Finally, just again, to repeat what I said earlier tonight, we do plan to return to in-person town board meetings, starting with our next meeting, September 14th. We'll do it again on September 28th. Again, any meetings that have been noticed, hearings that have been noticed, we will make that clear that those meetings are going to be in person. We do believe we can do this safely based on the current guidance from the Monroe County Public Health Department. And I just want to thank Dr. Mendoza and his team. Nobody could have imagined when he took that job what he would be leading us through as a community. And I'm so appreciative of his wisdom, his accessibility, and the skill sets that he brings to the Monroe County Public Health Department. So again, September 14th, we will be meeting here in person, 2300 Elmwood Avenue at 7 p.m. That's all that I have. Matters of the town attorney, Ken?
Thank you, Bill. On that subject of in-person meetings, one thing of interest to the community, I know to Mr. Goldman, who is still on the meeting and listening in, is what is going to happen with some of our other public boards, zoning board, planning board, historic preservation commission, all of which have been meeting remotely. The public notice for the zoning board meeting for September 7th has already been published and has indicated that it will be a remote meeting. So that meeting is going to need to still be held remotely September 7th. As the supervisors indicated, the town board will be able to meet in person September 14th and thereon, as long as nothing bad goes on with COVID or other pandemics, of course. It is our expectation, and talking with the Commissioner of Public Works, that we'll be able to publish a planning board notice for the meeting on September 21st, which will indicate that that meeting can also be held in person, as will the meeting for the Historic Preservation Commission to be held in September. That meeting, I believe, is scheduled for September 22nd. There is a meeting of the Historic Preservation Commission tomorrow evening. That meeting will still proceed remotely. And
if I can just stop you for a moment, it looks like Heather Your screen has been freezing up. I don't know whether Ally can jump in, but because we do want to make sure our deaf and hard of hearing population can watch along with us and understand, hear what we are doing. So, but thank you for that, Ken. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. And so that we can have this sign interpreted as well, let me just repeat that the zoning board meeting for September 7th will be held remotely. The Historic Preservation Commission meeting scheduled for tomorrow night will be held remotely. And starting with the September 14th town board meeting, we will then go forward with in-person meetings for the town board. The planning board meeting for September 21st, we will notice that as an in-person meeting, as well as the September 22nd Historic Preservation Commission meeting. And then the meeting of the zoning board in October, in early October, will be held in public, in person, I'm sorry, as well. And we'll get a notice out on that to make sure that the public knows.
Thanks, Ken.
Sure.
Matters of the town clerk.
I just wanted to let folks know, as we come up on September, expect the school tax bills to be available online on September 1st. So you cannot accept any payments until September 1st, as that is the starting date on the warrants for the various school districts. The calls are starting to come in, as they do every year. We still don't have the data at this point. We don't have any numbers. So you can save your calls for now, but pick up the phone next Wednesday and we should know that.
Thank you, Dan. I know it starts another busy time of the year for you again. And somehow on top of it all, your folks like Lisa, as we talked about earlier tonight, you and everybody do so many interactions with the public in so many different areas. Thank you for that. Matters of the town board. Hearing none, then can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second, Robin.
Dan, please call the roll on the motion to adjourn.
Councilmember DePonzio.
Aye.
Councilmember Werner.
Aye.
Councilmember Wilt.
Aye.
Councilmember Corrado.
Aye.
Supervisor Mealy.
Aye. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. I know I'm looking forward to sitting around that big U-shaped table in the auditorium to hold a live meeting in person of the town board next, well, three weeks from tonight, September 14th at 7 p.m. Till then, have a great evening, stay safe, and enjoy the rest of the great summer weather. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Aye.